And then I was on the bus with my youngest daughter. She's 21 now, but at the time she was 8. And she was just so taken with, well, she said, "Daddy, I really love the Metro transit system," which I had to dig into. And she just really loved the diversity of the people on the bus. It was just something that she saw. And this phrase that she said was like, "Daddy, look up and just see." And that just stuck with me. And it was that looking up and seeing the people around me and just taking inventory of all this life that's around me that I think I was just missing. Of course, as we've been here in Minneapolis the past little bit, there's just something different about the love of this city and the people that are here. And so it's kind of taken on a whole new meaning as well from when I originally wrote it, but also that whole thing of just look up.
Welcome to the Back Catalog Listening Party, your weekly musical happy hour where musicians pick an album from their back catalog and tell the stories behind their favorite tracks in front of a live online audience.
This week we talk with soul folk songwriter Josh Cleveland, who joins us with a Schell's beer and revisits his 2014 album Root of a Man. We laugh and have a good cry together, talking about writing love songs for his dad and his chosen home of Minneapolis. So pour a beverage, grab a snack, and kick back as we listen to soul-filling music together here on the Back Catalog Listening Party, where it's always Friday and old albums never sounded better. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
And welcome to the Back Catalog Listening Party. My name is Mother Banjo, one of your hosts.
My name is Anthony Ihrig, the other host.
And today we have joining us all the way from South Minneapolis, Josh Cleveland.
Hey. Oh, wow. Oh, it's so good to be here.
Yeah. Warm reception here at the Back Catalog Listening Party. Linda, first to the party from New Haven, Connecticut. Greetings. Right. And we have Christopher appreciating a beautiful sunny day in Minnesota with some Pinot Noir and friends.
Perfect.
Awesome. That sounds perfect.
Oh, awesome.
And Kermit Christie and Kombucha in Cambridge with a I love all the alliteration, all K's. That's great.
Excellent.
Love it.
Oh, welcome.
Well, if you are joining us here on the Back Catalog Listening Party for the live show, tell us where you are tuned in from. If you're enjoying a beverage or snack, this is our weekly happy hour where we get together, invite some of our favorite artists to revisit old records and hang out together. So, Tony, did you pour yourself a beverage today?
I did. I'm going back to my variety pack from Brooklyn Brewery. It's their NA variety pack. And this is the Classic Golden. It's just a nice, light, crisp, delicious, slightly hoppy beer that's tasting extra good in my Back Catalog Listening Party pint glass.
As everything does. And Josh, are you enjoying any kind of beverage?
I am. I have a Schell's Oktoberfest. It may be from October, whatever. It's a good vintage.
You know what? I'm always a fan of brown beers, so I feel like one of the things I used to do, and if I think of it, I still do it, but I don't always think of it, is when you're nearing the end of like the winter season, as I stock up on as many dark seasonal beers as I can so that I can enjoy them into the summer months.
Right. Nice.
So really hard to find.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm going the wine route today, and it's not quite as electric as it appears with this lighting, but a dry rosé is what I'm enjoying. Kind of a good borderline wine for, a little winter, a little summer, trying to remain hopeful.
Yeah. Yep. There's a little more hope on the bottom of that glass.
Exactly.
All right. Well, cheers, Ellen. Cheers, Josh.
Yeah,
and cheers to all of you joining us live and those listening to the show as a podcast. Connie just arrived from Ridgefield. Hey, Connie. David's here tonight with a Grain Belt Premium in his Back Catalog Listening Party pint glass. Cheers, David. Grain Belt, nice, great Minneapolis beer. And we have our friend Ted that says big, huge Josh fan.
Hey, Ted.
Well,
Great
we're big fans of Ted, too, a past guest here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
Yeah.
Well, we are happy to have you all here. We're excited to have Josh here. We're really excited to revisit one of his records that came out, 12 years ago.
Heavens. Yeah.
I know.
It flies by.
It really does. But before we dive into that, for folks who are maybe a little who might not be Ted and don't already know your deep catalog, maybe you could give a brief origin story of like where you grew up and how you fell into writing songs.
Yeah, I grew up in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, so don't hold that against me. But a beautiful little town on the water, and I fell in love with music pretty early on. My dad really loved music. He really enjoyed singing. He sang just all the time. We sang in church. I grew up in church, so it was an a cappella church. So it was, use your voice because that's the instrument that God has given. But he taught me how to harmonize and just taught me the beauty of adding your voice to something. So I always enjoyed that. But singing was such a vulnerable thing to me. So I thought I should probably play drums instead. So that's kind of
went the opposite
with the opposite way. I was like, get that microphone stand away from me. And I started to play drums and got into a band and just loved just creating music with other people. But I secretly just had this, boy, I just want to write and sing the songs that we're doing. And eventually got to college. And my best friend and I were like, let's start a band. And he was a drummer and I'm a drummer and he was way better. So, so I was like, Todd, you play drums and I will sing. And that's just kind of where it started. And then we started actually writing songs and singing them. And I've been in love ever since.
Awesome.
Love that. And I love that you got there via drums too. I mean, for a lot of us, it's not an obvious path. I mean, some people have a very clear path. They're like, well, I grew up playing fiddle and I kept playing fiddle my whole life. But, for a lot of us, it especially if it's something we did when we were young, sometimes in a specific context, like church or with family, you kind of feel like, oh, it's not meant for public consumption or, or just a rejection of your childhood.
Right.
And, but then as a way of sneaking back, right?
Absolutely.
Music is sneaky. Well, we are so excited to revisit this record, A Root of a Man. It came out in 2014. Where does this fit in your discography?
So I have 2 full-length albums and a couple EPs. So this is my second full-length album. And it was the first time I got to record with other people. All the other stuff was just me by myself, being like, all right, record. Now let's go play the drums. And then, you know what this needs? Some shaker, right? And so it was all me. So Root of a Man was the first time I got to sit down with other musicians and say, here are my songs. Here's a playground. What would you do with these songs? And so I really, it was an amazing experience and vulnerable to give my songs out to these people and say, what would you do?
Were you already playing with these folks, like out live and stuff before the studio, or was this like a band you kind of brought in for the studio?
Yeah, it was a band for the studio. The drummer and I, we had played a couple shows together years and years before, and then our keyboard player, he and I and the drummer also had played together at church. But that was about it, but not necessarily these songs. So it was let's pull them together.
Well, while we're on the topic, you shared some great photos here of the band recording. So let's, even though we haven't listened to a song yet, but why don't we see who the personnel is here first?
Yeah. So on bass, there is Ian Allison. My gosh,
he's a monster.
Yeah. I mean, that's the greatest way to describe him. But he's like the kindest, friendliest monster.
Yeah.
And I have a story about him, but it'll come later in one of the songs specifically. So he was on bass. Then on guitar was Steve Bosmans.
Let's see.
Steve is great. Yeah.
Oh man, I just, everything that came from his fingers was just magic, and he was just so humble. He's like, "Oh, did you like that? Should I do that again?" It's like, yeah, always.
Just all the time. Yeah. For folks who are, I mean, he's played with a whole lot of great people here in the Twin Cities. One that comes to mind who's been a guest here on Back Catalog is Mary Bew. Has done a lot of work with her. But yeah, really talented guitar player.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we scrolled past our drummer, Eric Smith. And he is my current drummer right now in our band. So we've been playing together off and on forever. And he's just an amazing drummer, good friend, but also just really keen eye on not just tempo, but the feel of the song, and really good at following dynamics or creating them. He was super fun to play with.
Nice.
Wonderful. Well, let's give it a listen. The first track you picked to feature from this album, Root of a Man, is City. Is there anything you want to say about this song before we take a listen?
Yeah, this one actually it's taken on a whole new meaning. I had moved from Oshkosh back to the cities after a time away. And this was one of the first songs I wrote when I came back here, and I was just really struck by the city itself. I was starting to feel a sense of home that I hadn't really ever felt before. So I was already kind of in this romantic sort of feeling about Minneapolis itself. And then I was on the bus with my youngest daughter. She's 21 now, but at the time she was 8. And she was just so taken with, she said, "Daddy, I really love the Metro transit system," which I had to dig into. And she just really loved the diversity of the people on the bus. It was just something that she saw. And this phrase that she said was like, "Daddy, look up and just see." And that just stuck with me. And it was that looking up and seeing the people around me and just taking inventory of all this life that's around me that I think I was just missing. And I'm also convinced that without my little daughter's voice in my head, I wouldn't have met my wife either, because we'd been passing each other in all sorts of circles and just were never noticed until just hearing that voice and just being able to notice the people around me. And of course, as we've been here in Minneapolis the past little bit, there's just something different about the love of this city and the people that are here. And so it's kind of taken on a whole new meaning as well from when I originally wrote it, but also that whole thing of just look up.
I love it. All right, let's give it a spin. This is Josh Cleveland with City here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
I fell in love with the city. The skyline paints the corners of my home. I stepped down in the land of plenty, yeah. She leads me down these streets I've never known. She builds me up, she brings me back. She builds me up, she brings me back. And when the nights are cold around me, she leads me to her heart, an open flame. And if darkness is surrounding, yeah, I can hear her voice call out my name. She builds me up, she brings me back. She builds me up, she brings me back.
Beautiful. Love song for Minneapolis. That was
Yeah.
Josh Cleveland with City from his 2014 album Root of a Man, which we are revisiting today with Josh joining us right from South Minneapolis. And
Mhm.
Ted actually chimed in the chat to say, I'm on my way home, still melts my heart. And Jocelyn commenting on the bass. Again, that's Ian Allison, right? On that.
Yeah.
And then we had a question, which I had a guess, but Chris asked, "What studio has what looks like a legal library behind the drummer?" And the answer is
The library.
it's a recording studio called The Library. Believe it or
Yep.
not.
Yeah. Matt Patrick has a beautiful space over there, and he's been doing stuff there for years and years, and he's just expanded it a little bit. And he's such a boy. Talk about another lovely human with ears for bringing out new things to a song. There was one of our favorite moments was we're sitting listening to a tune. And he's like, "This needs," and then he just left and he climbed up this ladder and went into some hobbit hole and came out with like a 5-string acoustic guitar and just gave it to Steve and said, "You know what to do." And it was just, and he did, and it was great.
I
That's
love
awesome.
that. Yeah, that's a lot of great records been made in that studio. And there is something too about like the warmth of like the sounds that come out of that studio. And I'm convinced it's is partially actually the books, like not just the vibes, but like the actual like softening, like it acts as an amazing sound softener. I'm not an engineer, so I don't know the technical terms, but
Well, speaking of dynamics, like I love how, the song talks about building you up, and we've talked a little bit about this before we started recording today, but if you look at the WAV file for this song, and if you just listen to this with us, you notice it started very soft and it built and it built and it built and it built. And was that something that you had in mind as you were arranging this, kind of given the topic?
Yeah, I think it kind of built that natural crescendo, and I think a lot of it had to do with Ian. He wanted to get. He's like, I just feel like this song needs to get crunchy. I don't know if that's verbatim, but I feel like it was something like that, and we just sort of, because we had some time, and Matt was like, well, let's just let it breathe for a little bit. We went there and I just fell in love with it. And I was like, maybe we should go a little bit bigger. Cause initially it was only going to get kind of big towards the bridge. And then we were going to bring it way down for the whole rest of the song. But we just kept going because it felt like that's where it needed to go. And it was really fun to do. I hadn't done that in any of my songs before, to really just build it up like that. And it was really, it felt natural as we were doing it.
Yeah. It really fit. I felt like it fit the lyrical content.
And it also, I mean, Ted commenting that he's like driving home, and I will say that you're talking about being on the bus and like looking up and looking at the people and the buildings around you. And I felt like this song also was like kind of a journey. Like it takes you through these places, and these feelings. And, so it feels appropriate that it wouldn't just be the same thing, right? Because that's what the whole song is about the variety and color of the city. And I think that really is captured in a really beautiful way.
Yeah, thank you.
Did want to mention that if you are listening to the podcast version of the show, again, we were talking a lot about we were sharing some photos from the studio. And if you want to see pictures of the library studio, you can go to the show notes. If you go to backcataloglisteningparty.com and go to this episode with Josh Cleveland, you'll find some of these photos there, so you can check it out. Because if you've never, especially if you don't live in or near the Twin Cities, you've probably not had an occasion to check out this studio, and it's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I was writing down, aside from the dynamics, which Tony commented on, is the violin parts.
Or was that a cello?
Or was that a cello?
Yeah.
String parts.
Yeah.
So tell us who was playing on that.
That was Ben Rosenbush.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we never met, actually. He came in post-production, and the gentleman, Tom Smouse, who put this whole project together. I'd be remiss if I didn't at least Pray his name out there.
We're big fans here
Yeah.
at the Back Catalog.
Yeah,
We
right.
get all our promo photos. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah. He's just salt of the earth, and he put the whole project together. But he said, I think I got a guy. And hearing that, I'm a crier. I cry at everything. If I get sweaty, I also cry. And the first time I heard this song with Ben's parts in there, I just wept. It was just a gorgeous, gorgeous thing. And I thought the song was beautiful before. And I'm like, oh, we're good. I mean, if you think a cello needs to go in there, and they're like, well, it's, yeah, okay. That's so good.
So often in the studio, it's not about need. Sometimes it is, but it's not about need. But then you hear something that you didn't know that you wanted. And then you're like, yeah, I can't believe I didn't think of having cello on this.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. And he plays in a few of the songs, and it's just a beautiful, he found a beautiful playground.
Yeah.
So now I'm curious. You mentioned Tom Smouse putting this together. So was he acting as a producer for this record then? Did you contact him and have him arrange all of this stuff? Tell us a little bit about like that relationship and how that helped bring this album to life.
Yeah. I come to think of like Inigo Montoya, like I'll sum up. So we met, Tom and I met years and years before this project took place. Actually, when he was an engineer at Fuzzy Slipper Studio in St. Paul. And so I was commuting from Wisconsin and, to come visit my daughter, but then also see friends here. And I found this studio and started to record the initial versions of some of these songs for the Root of the Man album in Fuzzy Slippers. And then, as you do sometimes as a musician, ran out of money. And and the project just like stalled for a couple years. And then when I moved back here, Tom and I reconnected, and we just really connected on a musical level. But then just personally, we had just kind of similar stories and just kind of some similar background, and just really formed this deep friendship. So we started to work together outside of music. And then he just decided, hey, I really want to do a couple projects, and I really want to do your songs. And so let's do it right. And he put it all together.
Wow. And this is a whole side of Tom I didn't even know about, because I think I know him mainly as a photographer, an amazing photographer, and also a host of the Smouse in the House podcast for the Adventures in Americana website. And so I know obviously he's a huge music fan, but I didn't even know he did engineering or had done in a previous life. So this is very cool to get that.
Hey there, would you like to be part of the live show? Well, become a member of the Back Catalog Listening Party Patreon, and you'll get a backstage pass to weekly online tapings where you can ask the artist questions and participate in the live chat with a fun community of like-minded music nerds. You'll also get a first look at upcoming guests and receive invitations to special live streams and private after parties. So join the party today at patreon.com/Back Catalog Listening Party.
Well, clearly, even though it sounds like you made this album sort of after your return to Minneapolis and you were feeling like it was home, I mean, clearly you had already made so many roots in this city, they'd really taken hold, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's get some more music. And I do want to remind folks who are joining us for the live chat that if you have comments or questions for Josh as we go along, feel free to throw them in there. The next track is Fair is Fair. And we have to say for our podcast listeners, fair is spelled F-A-I-R. And then the second fair is F-A-R-E. So fair is fair. Yeah. So is there anything you want to say about this song before we take a listen?
Yeah, just kind of with the title itself, I worked for a nonprofit organization here in Minneapolis called Youth Frontiers, doing work in schools and as a musician. And I wrote this for that work that we were doing, just about, I was noticing working with young people that a lot of the things that they just really needed or wanted was just to be seen and to know that they matter. But a lot of times they were the ones that had the loudest voice telling them that they didn't matter. And so this song just kind of gets into that idea of how we look at ourselves And instead of seeing what's not there, why don't we see what is there? Because what is there is pretty amazing.
Great. This is Josh Cleveland. Fair is Fair here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
I wish we could just tear the mirrors off the wall. 'Cause sometimes the truth they tell ain't no truth at all. No, we look with these eyes that are quick to criticize. Well, too much of this, too little of that, and we bought a handful of lies. Oh, mirror, mirror on the wall, you ain't too fair at all. Ain't too fair at all. I wish that you could see the you that I can see. You close your eyes to all the things that you critique. Oh, perfection ain't what it's all about. No, no. What else can I say to help us figure it out? Oh, mirror, mirror on the wall, you ain't too fair at all. No, no, you ain't too fair at all. I wish that you could see that you were more than just your love. I wish that you could see that you were more than just the cover of a book. Wish that you could see you were more than what you get wrong. I wish that you could see that the you are is such a beautiful song. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, mirror, mirror on the wall. Oh, 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 mirror, mirror on the wall. Oh, mirror, mirror on the
All right. Josh Cleveland getting funky there. Fair is Fair from his 2014 album Root of a Man, which we are revisiting today with Josh joining us live from Minneapolis. And whew, those
Wow.
vocals, man.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Oh, that falsetto just melty. So, well, I have a lot of questions and comments, but the first thing I need to know is, like, obviously you said you sang a lot in church and clearly you know your voice and what it can do and all that. But again, there's such a soul quality, especially to the delivery on that song. Like Al Green and, were there any singers for you that are like, you think were particularly influential either as a kid or as a grown musician?
Yeah, absolutely. And my dad was, he loved music, and his collection of music was so eclectic because on one hand, he had, we had a lot of kind of Christian music and that sort of thing. But then on the other, it'd be like Led Zeppelin would be the next record up in the mix, and then there was a lot of Stevie Wonder, and then there was Lyle Lovett, which that man still, I don't understand how he exists. And Ray Charles was one that the first time I heard a Ray Charles tune, I forget, my dad and I were just, I don't know what we were driving somewhere, and I just was floored. I'd not heard a voice do that before, like embody a whole emotion of something just by the lyric itself. And I really thought, oh, I want more of that. I wish I could do that. And so then it just became looking for more of those kind of soul artists. And Stevie Wonder was just another one of those. I think the first time I heard of Stevie Wonder was on the Cosby Show. And I thought, wait, who's that man? And then my dad just was like, well, I have his record right here. And,
Nice. That's
so those
great.
are some of them. Yeah.
You can hear some of those influences in this track for sure. Holy moly.
Yeah. And then let's just talk about that rhythm section. Holy cats.
That was a pocket.
Yeah.
Sure
Deep pocket.
was. I just didn't want to crawl out of that pocket. I just want to stay there forever.
Yeah.
It's like like be a kangaroo. I just want to like sit in there.
Right. Oh, it was so fun to watch Ian and Eric just stare at each other. And then you've got Steve that just throws in some things here and there. And between the bass and the rhythm, and then Corey Carlson, who played piano and did some keys work, they just laid this floor for the tune where originally it was just me and acoustic guitar. And the acoustic guitar is not in that song. We threw that out pretty quick.
I was going to ask, since you had a drumming background, if like maybe you had kind of directed that groove or anything like, but it sounds like maybe they just ran.
Yeah, I wish I could take credit for that, but no, that was, I wanted it to have a groove. I just didn't know that groove could exist with the song. And Eric and Ian really pulled it together.
Sure. So I don't know if you were playing out live much like before this record came out. And if you're playing solo or, how you were performing, but I'd be curious to know if either before or after you recorded this, that you performed the song any differently, whether you had a band or not. Like, did it just change how you performed it, recording it this way?
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely, when I would play it by myself, I did a lot of solo stuff before and then some after, being as we just kind of put the band together and then dispersed. We went our merry way when the project was done. But it definitely influenced even how I did it acoustically. It's just, I had to find a way to find that groove and find it. It got a little more like smoky loungy when I would do it by myself. But yeah, it definitely influenced for sure how I played it from there on after.
Oh, so good.
I know the groove is still actually in my neck. I've noticed.
Like I said,
I'm trying to stop this, but the chicken neck is just happening
there.
That is infectious.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah. Well, if you like what you're hearing, and we know you folks are, then you might want to think about buying this album. He still has CD copies. And if you go to joshcleveland.com, you can buy the digital version of the record. So you can get the high res files. So that's another great way if you maybe don't have a CD player. But he says, even though it doesn't look like CDs are for sale on his website, we do have a Venmo for Josh, and you can just throw some money his way or contact him through his website. And you can order that CD and he'll send it to you right from his home, direct.
That's right.
Correct.
Maybe get a signature on there or something.
Yeah. You'll definitely tell it's from someone's house by the packaging.
But I mean, you got to get the high res version, folks, because there was a lot going on in that song. There's all these little like spaceship sounds and things rattling around. And I loved how you're during the bridge, your voice kind of went into like the old telephone. I mean, that kind of production stuff sounds so great. especially when you're listening to like the high quality version of the songs, the high quality WAV files or uncompressed files, and then some nice headphones. And you're going to get that if you get the CD or if you download the high res files, because you obviously put a lot of time, effort, and care into those tracks.
Absolutely.
So good. Well, again, joshcleveland.com is where you can find all that stuff. We're going to get to more music because I don't know. If nothing else, we have to get this one groove out of our head, right?
I know. I'm just
shake it out
over here.
So the next track that you picked is Like a Song. Is there anything you want to say about this one?
Yeah, just, when I first started writing songs, I thought this was my pathway towards love and relationship. And anytime I would write a love song for a person that I was with, the relationship inevitably ended, not far after that. But I realized I didn't know how to write about the relationship I was in. And so it wasn't until I was nowhere near a relationship, I just kind of had this talk with love in the room that I was in at the time. And I was like, what is it? Why aren't we friends? Why can't we be together? Why don't you understand me, love? And then this song just sort of like came out of that. And I think it was one of those instances where I needed the absence of the relationship and the pressure to write it for someone. I just needed to write, what is it about love that just gets me? And I realized, it's music, and music and love go together. And so this is kind of like my love song to music and my music song to love.
All right. This is Josh Cleveland, Like a Song, here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
Treat you like a song, let the chorus be your name. Break you down in the bridge, babe, and build you back again. Let the harmonies rise and the melody lay the floor. I'm gonna treat you like a song, babe, never been sung before. Gonna rise, I'm gonna fall. Let my voice rise, let my heart fall. I'm gonna treat you, baby, just like a song. Let the words move across the page as my hand moves down your face. Let the words write your curves as the notes fall into place. Then compose up some love, let the music hook you in. Then build it up with the backbeat, baby, and sing you once again. I'm gonna rise, I'm gonna fall. Let my voice rise, let my heart fall. I'm gonna treat you, baby. I'm gonna treat you, baby. And I know it won't be easy. It won't come without some trials. Ooh, but any song worth singing is always worth the while. I'm gonna rise, I'm gonna fall. Let my voice rise, let my heart fall.
Fade out. I could have used so much more of that. Why did it fade out? I wanted
the
more.
song just keeps going.
Oh, I love it. I have to say, like, you got to stop with these grooves, Josh. Just
Right. I forgot about this song. So when we were like, we're going to get that groove out, I was like, well, we're going to get another one.
It's so good.
That's a beautiful tune. And I love the, the metaphor here too. It's great.
Yeah.
thank
And
you.
the vocals are so, your vocals and the harmony vocals, talk about who's, are there some extra Joshes in there? What other, I heard some female voices, I think, in there.
Yeah, it was all me.
Oh,
So it was just
just your beautiful falsetto in there. Ugh.
yeah, and it was just a lot of it. When I initially started to
So
do
much Josh on
Yeah.
that track.
Tom was like, how about one more pass through, but do something different. And then I would do that, and he's like, how about another one? And then like 100 takes later, he's like, I think I got it.
So you don't even know how many of you
No,
there are in there.
No,
Yeah.
there was a lot of me, and it was like, and he was like, can you go higher? So we tested the limits there.
Oh, I love it. It feels so good. It's like a warm blanket.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, Steve Bosman's, he just laid down this loop, and this is where I was, I've recorded before, but when you're doing stuff on your own, like you just don't pay attention all the time. I don't pay attention all the time anyways, but he started this loop, and I remember turning to Matt Patrick and being like, well, how can he keep that loop the whole time? Aren't we going to like get off tempo? And he was like, we're playing to a click track. I was like, oh, so, and that loop just stayed the whole way. And it was just, that's when I couldn't stop staring at Steve in the studio while we were recording the song, just mesmerized by what he was doing.
I love it. You were looking up
Yeah,
at your fellow
that's right.
musicians.
Absolutely.
I love that. Christy had a question about the artwork. And I also have been admiring this as we listen to the tracks. For those of you listening to the podcast, if you've never seen the YouTube version of the show, we actually, while we're listening, we look at the album art. So we often, lots of us have questions about it. And this is beautiful. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, I wish I could remember who actually did it. It was a connection from Tom again, but it was one of those things where we went round and round. There was a bunch of different kind of thoughts behind it, but I love nature. It's just a part of me. I grew up going camping all the time, and so I knew that needed to be somehow in the art and the trees. But the idea of just the roots going through everything. And as soon as I saw the guy put the skeleton kind of through it, that I was like, that's it. That's our version of it.
Yeah, and for those of you just listening to the podcast, it's like the nervous system are like these strands. You'll see that when you see a nervous system kind of depicted, and then those strands go underground. We're seeing kind of a cutout of the ground and the soil, and those strands kind of becoming roots. It's a really powerful image.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really good. And while we're talking about that, obviously the title "Root of a Man" connected to that image. Where does the title for this album come from?
It comes from a discussion I had with my dad when I as an adult man, you know that you've really arrived in life when you turn 30 and then you move back in with your mom and dad. And that's where I was. My life had kind of unraveled for a little bit. And the root of the man idea just came from years worth of conversations that I got to have with my dad while I was living at home. And one of the main things that he talked to me about was just that, if we have solid roots, we can be planted anywhere. And he just spent a lot of that time reminding me of the roots that I had in my body. Not just that he and my mom had given me, though they did, but also that I had made myself and nurtured myself, that there was goodness and strong roots there, and that you can be planted anywhere. And you just have to ask the question, why do you do the things that you do? And what do you want to happen because of your actions? And that's kind of where that whole idea. So all the songs kind of were just this kind of me rerouting myself back home and finding a new home and being strong wherever I could be.
Well, it's really beautiful, and the songs are so good. So if you want to again pick up a CD copy of this album, then you get the artwork as well as all the
True.
great tracks, and you can tell us who designed the beautiful artwork. So check out the liner notes and all the good stuff. If you go to joshcleveland.com, contact Josh, throw something in his Venmo, and he'll send you a CD in the mail. And we want to thank all of you because we know so many of our listeners, and especially our regulars who join us for the live tapings, our Patreon supporters are so wonderful about supporting independent music, and they know the value of not just the art you're creating, but also the necessity of funding it and supporting it. So really anything you can send Josh's way is good because he's working on a new record, which we're going to talk about in just a little bit. But before we do, speaking of support, we want to thank the people that have kept this show going for almost 6 years.
That's wild.
Whoa.
That's wild. I know.
So
Holy moly.
crazy. We want to thank Penny, Ann, Alinda, Bevan, Connie, Vaughn, Alan, Chris, Becky, Peggy, Joe, Jim, Beverly, John, Tim, Sarah, David, Jocelyn, Matt, Steve, Mark, Severin, Lynn, Mary, Nikki, Joni, David, CJ, Christy, Diane, Hetty, Sandy, Neighbor Ann, BZ, Paul, Cynthia, Ross, Mike, Eric, Stephanie, Phil, Ryan, and maybe you. If you want to join this mighty crew of music supporters, lovers, geeks, it's a lovely community of people. And they're the ones who get the invite to every live taping that we do. You get first look at the guests. You get invites to other special things, cool merch, all the good stuff. So like that pint glass, patreon.com/back catalog listening party is how you can do it. But no matter what, we're just happy that your ears are here. So even if you can't join the Patreon, you can subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to us to. You can like the episode. You can share it with your friends because I'm guessing if you're a music geek or a fan of Josh's, that probably you know someone else who would also like Josh's music. So share it. Share it with a friend.
Yep.
Speaking of Josh's music and sharing it, I mentioned that you are working on a new record, which is going to come out later this year. But by the time this podcast airs, your new single will be out in the world.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so excited. This has been a long process to get this new album out, 10 years or more. But yeah, this new single, it's called Keep Singing. And it's just, boy, I'm super excited for people to hear it. It's just like City, it's become this love song, I think, for Minneapolis and for this place that I call home. Keep Singing is like my anthem for us to lift our voice even when people say not to, because we know it's the best and good thing to do. And so that's kind of where that song, it's not where it came from, but it's where it landed. Absolutely.
It's funny you say that because I feel like there have been so many artists that we've talked to here on the Back Catalog Listening Party where we've heard from artists that songs sometimes know things that we don't, that the writer doesn't even know, or didn't know we needed, right?
Yeah.
It's
like when they wrote it and then years later they come to realize the truths
of like what it was about, or it's like the songs is like has its own knowledge, that spiritual connection that we are somehow tapping into, but we're not really aware of it at the time. And so I like to think that the muse or the spirits that informed this song like knew that you were going to need this song.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, if you're interested in the new single and the new album and want to follow all of Josh's adventures, head on over to joshcleveland.com and you can learn about all of this stuff and start following Josh and his band.
The Back Catalog Listening Party is brought to you by EFS Publicity. Founded by veteran publicist, promoter, DJ, and musician Ellen Stanley, EFS brings an artist's perspective to the table, working to help clients get to the next level in their career. Services include national and international media campaigns, radio promotions, tour press, crowdfunding, grant writing, and more. Get a quote or set up a consultation today at efspublicity.com. We have time, I think, for one more song. And I know this song has a special story around it. "Lost in Your Arms." Is there anything you want to say about it before we listen?
Yeah, I'll try to do this without crying. This is a song I wrote for my dad. My dad was well, the album, the idea came from our conversations together as I was rebuilding my life, and kind of the pinnacle of this rebuilding my life was finding my wife and getting married and creating a family. And this is a picture from our wedding for those of you that can't see, but go check it out. My dad is a handsome devil. And this was at our wedding, and those are my brothers as well. And 2 weeks after the wedding, my dad, he had been fighting a battle with cancer for a few years. And 2 weeks after our wedding, he passed away. But this song was one that I wrote when we first learned about his diagnosis. And we were hundreds of miles apart. And my dad had this way of hugging you that it was like being mauled by a bear, but with like less death. And he also had hearing aids. So if he hugged you just right, it was like a really nice hum if he got close enough to you. And I knew in that moment when he said, "Well, I have cancer. That's where we're at." The thing I wanted the most in that moment was just one of those hugs. And so and this became one of those songs where sometimes it takes me months to write a tune. And I wrote this in like 25 minutes. And it stuck. It was just one of those times when, kind of what you were just saying, the song knew exactly what I needed right in that moment. And it was one of those things that I was able to write and sing. And also my dad being my dad, he was like, well, when I go, I need you to play this at my celebration of life. And so that was something that I was able to do as well, kind of go full circle. But so it's meant a lot. And thankfully, he was able to hear all of these songs before he passed away, which was really great. But this one was for my pops.
This is Josh Cleveland, "Lost in Your Arms," here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
When I feel lost and afraid, and it seems the hope's gone away, and I feel shattered and scattered, and I can't find the words to pray. I need to be lost in your arms. I wanna be lost in your arms. I wanna be lost in your arms. That's where I wanna be. When my heart seems to fail, my fears, they get the best of me. I feel broken and no words spoken can bring me up from my knees. I need to be lost in your arms. I wanna be lost in your arms. I wanna be lost in your arms. Oh, that's where I wanna be. Oh, that's where I wanna be, in the shadow of your wings. lost in your arms. I wanna be lost in your arms. I wanna be lost in your arms. That's where I wanna be. That's where I wanna be. Wanna be found. I wanna be found. Wanna be found.
Okay, was anyone not tearing up during that? I don't based on the comments and how I'm feeling, I don't think so. No dry eyes here at the back catalog listening party. David says, what a fabulous finish to another great show and such a touching tribute to your dad. Oh, so
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah. I have no notes.
No,
No,
the
no,
song
yeah.
spoke for itself, I think.
Yeah,
Ah.
that's a testament. I have to give a shout out to Ian Allison on that piece. He knew what the song was about, and he was so timid about. He's like, "Hey, I feel like the song should open with the bass, but if it's horrible, if it's taking away from the tune, and as soon as he played that bass part in the beginning, that was the tone for the rest of the song. It was just, but it was so nice to have all the musicians that came into this project held it with such sacred space, and it was such a wonderful journey to be on, and then it culminated with that tune in particular.
Well, this song, we all needed this song apparently today. So, which it seems to happen every week magically. The universe seems to know what we need to hear to keep us going in these crazy times. And this week, this album was just, it was it.
Yeah. This was a wonderful hour, Josh. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
So
thank you.
beautiful. The album we've been revisiting is Root of a Man. It came out in 2014, but I'll tell you, it's music for now, folks. So get a copy, download the high-res tracks, because it's just a beautiful, moving record that will end, you can just hop into that pocket of luscious grooves and hang out, because it's a pretty sweet place to be. Having spent an hour there. So joshcleveland.com, you can find this album. You can stay in touch with Josh. You can learn about the new single, which again will be out when this podcast airs. Keep singing. So keep streaming it and buying it and doing all the things to support Josh and the upcoming record. And Ted sending some love notes. Love, love, love. Glorious. I agree with all of that. So thanks to you, Josh, for sharing this hour with us. This is really special.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is great for me to be here for sure.
And we want to thank all of you for being a part of the show, because what makes this show special isn't just having the guests, although that is definitely fun for us. But what makes this unique is because we could just call and hang out with Josh if we one-on-one. But what's fun is all of you listening to the songs with us and participating in the conversation. And
absolutely.
Whether you're listening to the podcast or whether you're joining us for the live taping on YouTube, thank you for being here. We feel your vibes. We feel your spirit with us every week. And we're really grateful that you're out there enjoying music with us, because this is what the world needs. More community.
That's right.
Right on.
Yeah. Well, thanks, folks, for your support of independent artists. Thanks, Josh. And we hope to see all of you again on a Friday when you need it most. The right album's going to come along. And that's what it's all about. Until then, cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining us on the Back Catalog Listening Party. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to the podcast and leave a review, which helps more people discover our show and our guests.
And do you want to be a part of the live show, get a first look at upcoming guests, and receive invites to private online parties and live streams? Then join our Patreon community at backcataloglisteningparty.com.
Have a great week. We'll see you back here next Friday for another edition of the Back Catalog Listening Party.